my next question. How will these practices know that they've had like a data breach, and how should they fix this problem once they encounter it?
So I think most of these attacks, there are telltale signs. It's very obvious. You walk into your office on a Monday morning, you try and start to your practice management software, your accounting, whatever, and it doesn't work. Or more obvious, there's a ransom note on your screen saying your system's been encrypted with ransomware. Don't try and undo it. Here's an email address. Here's how you contacted us, and we'll tell you how to pay and how much you need to pay. So I think there's some very obvious signs. But the reality is, in many of these cases that we're involved with, as I alluded to earlier, the hackers are in the system for weeks prior to the practice knowing, and there's no way to know, right? Unless you have tools on the network that can help identify that entry, you're not going to know. But the reality is, it's very obvious once it happens.
And what should these practices do, to fix this problem? Once, let's say theoretically, you walk into the office and you notice a data breach, what should be the first 3 steps that these people should do? Should they contact the police, contact cybersecurity? What should they do?
Right. So fantastic question. So what we usually say is rule number 1, disconnect the internet. So make sure you unplug your cable modem, your any type of internet connection you may have. We also tell people to actually leave the computers on. A lot of people want to actually just start shutting everything down. If the attack is already executed, that's not effective, right? And you actually may lose some information as to what happened and whether data was accessed or taken. Step 2 is to immediately grab all your backups. If you have a connected backup to your system, there's a high likelihood that the hackers took it out. So you may actually have no backup. There's a chance that maybe they didn't take it out yet, or the attack is still underway. Disconnect the backup drive, because that may be your only lifeline to getting your data back. Step 3, you nailed it already. You got to reach out to a cyber firm. What we find in way too many cases is the IT companies, they don't have the expertise to deal with these types of attacks. And they're and they're great at what they do, but they just want to fix things. They're like, oh, Dr. Smith, I'm so sorry your network's down. We'll get you back up and running in a couple of days. We'll just format everything and we'll get you recovered. And that's not a logical thought, but that's not the right process. All right. So a cyber firm will help you not only recover your data, but also help you understand there's a lot of compliance and legal issues around this recovery process. So those are the things that you should do. But what I tell everyone is it's going to be a painful process, right? Most practices, healthcare providers that are hit by cyber attacks, they will probably have to close their doors for at least 1 week. And in most cases, it's about 2 weeks. And even at the 2-week mark, they may be limping along. Not all the systems may be back up and running, because in many cases, you're at the complete mercy of the criminals, right? This ransomware technology is so sophisticated, you just typically cannot beat it. You have to pay the ransom if all your data is encrypted. And then there's communications that have to go back and forth between the cyber firm and the criminals, and money transferring and all these other things. So it's definitely a hard pill for the doctors to swallow, because they just want to start doing surgery and treating patients again. And they have to understand that there's a lot of work that has to be done.